1,800 staff, there are over 100 specially abled individuals from various NGOs that the company is tied up with. Wow Momo has been the recipient of numerous awards, and so has this co-founder and CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you co-founder and chief executive officer of Wow Momo Foods Pvt. Limited, Sagar Daryani. Welcome, sir.
Hi friends, good afternoon. I hope you guys have tasted us. We are right here. And if you haven't, you can go to the nearest mall at our city. So yeah, my journey as an entrepreneur the last 14 years has been nothing less than a Bollywood blockbuster. There have been days when I have been so happy that out of excitement I haven't been able to sleep. And then there have been days when I've been shattered, disappointed, felt like giving up, and literally, felt like just getting into depression and haven't been able to sleep. The fact is that your dreams should be so big that they don't allow you to sleep. And I think I'm blessed, I'm privileged, I'm here. So, वो कहते हैं कि अगर ज़िंदगी में कुछ करना है, आगे बढ़ना है तो मुश्किलें आएंगी, उनका सामना करना है, लड़ना है, लेकिन आगे बढ़ना है. A winner never quits and a quitter never wins. And that's what I've learned. People talk about destiny. I completely believe in destiny, but more than that, I think I believe in creating your own destiny, and I let that be above destiny. And if it happens, it happens. Life में कभी काश नहीं कहना. And today, that's what I'm going to address on. I'm going to talk on how agility can be is the biggest tool for modern retail. And that's what I've learned in the last 14 years. I've spoken in several seminars about my story, my journey. I think today I want to share some anecdotes, some real life experiences in the last 14 years, some failures which have led to making us what we are. They say if you want to reach for the stars, you should aim for the moon, because even if you fail, you'll get somewhere. And I think the biggest learning has been adversity. So how do you convert adversity to opportunity? How do you convert a tough situation to a challenge, and that challenge to an opportunity? I think that's what I want to speak about. So, I'll go way back. I won't start from the COVID era, but I'll go way back. We all remember demonetization, right, which happened in 2016-17. I think that was the first time when I felt the business had some adversity. Suddenly you could see business coming down, people standing outside ATMs, queuing up to, get the cash currency exchanged. And it was a setback. I remember I was raising my first round of funding then, and I just hit the market, just met investors. And suddenly all the investors who were so interested in investing in you went on a long Christmas break, because this happened in November and no one would want to see you till January, right? So business started plummeting, sales were down. That's when, we did a very small kind of a tweak. We took an initiative. We said, if people are standing in long queues, they will feel thirsty, they will feel hungry. So if customers don't come to us, how do we get to them? And that's when my team and us decided that, we'll go down to every ATM. So beside every store, we have some ATM, whether it's a mall, whether it's a high street, go and offer them water. Once they drink water, they feel better, they feel saturated, because everyone was standing under the sun. Outside ATM, there were huge queues. A store outside Lajpat Nagar had a huge queue, a store in Defcol had huge queue, a store in Bombay had huge queue, a store in Calcutta, a store in Chennai. It was hot. And then, you give them water, and, once they have quenched their thirst, you go with your leaflet, you make it possible for them to order food while they're standing in the queue. That time, Swiggy, Zomato was not that prevalent, right? It was more about your own activation that you go to the customer. So serve them food while they're standing in the queue, take that order from the queue, take a GPRS machine, get the credit card swiped, and serve them Momo while they're standing in the queue. And this small change that we did, this small improvisation that we did, this small, kind of a intent that we showed I've always considered brands like Domino's, KFC, Subway, they are my role model brands, When we started doing this, I could see them started doing this. And the entire QSR industry, I remember, which was down by almost 30+% in the month of November when demonetization happened. I think January we had a SSG of over 20%. I remember that time there was this movie called Dangal also which had released and it just outclassed everyone and demonetization was overcome. So it was how you convert a tough time to an opportunity and make it work for your business. And those same investors who went for a long Christmas break saw our numbers and came back and invested. So, that is when I think was the first challenge I ever faced in this entire journey of entrepreneurship. As we grew further, everything felt hunky-dory. OND, October, November, December of 2019-20 was the best period we ever had. We got our gross margins to 71%, profitable business, growing by 60%, and comes COVID. And when COVID happened, it was a social sorrow. The entire, your entire life was your laptop. Everything had stopped. Business came down by 90%. You had almost 3,000 employees. How do you pay them salaries? You don't know. What about sales? You don't know. The only I would say, the only comfort factor was that this was the social sorrow and, somewhere you felt that we all will come out of this. However, it was scary. It was very scary. And I think when you have your back up against the wall, when times are tough, adversity calls for diversity. And that's when we took it up like a challenge again. We said, we've been in such situations in the past where we've had our back up against the wall. It's not in our control, but what can we do to bounce back? When your business is down by 90%, out of your 300 plus stores, almost 250 stores are shut, all malls are shut, everything is shut. What do you do? So then we decided that, from a 16 crore monthly business, we were at a 1.8 crore monthly business. We were like, if customers don't come to us, how do we get to the customer? So for us, prior to COVID, our entire delivery business was just 18%, We had never focused on delivery. We always felt that delivery was like a normal takeaway customer. But now it was time for us to get to the customer. So if customers could not come to us, how do we get to them? And it all started with the entire packaging. How do you make Momo more delivery friendly? How do you change the entire packaging? So you have a foil coating inside. You have gaps in the side for the steam to come out so that the product does not become soggy. How do you learn growth hacking? How do you learn how to be visible in the right location in the digital space? The entire BTL became digital. There was nothing known as spending differently, or there was nothing known as brand activation. It was all about growth hacking in the online space. It was all about learning D2C. It was all about learning how to do delivery business. Launched products like dazzling Momos at 89 rupees, 99 rupees, had a meal for one at 149, meal for two at 199. A lot of solo ordering happening, so learning to be with the trend. You open a YouTube, you'll see Wow Momo. You open a Spotify. So learned how to sell in the online space. And prior to COVID, when we were at 1 lakh orders, we actually reached 9 lakh orders in the peak of COVID. So learned the delivery business. Learned how to, embrace the reality and reinvent yourself. And as an entrepreneur, as an organization, to learn to reinvent, to learn to survive, revive, and grow is most important. Not just that, in the interim period, when we had cash flow issues, we actually started a new business line called Momo Essentials because our stores had a lot of space. They would be empty, right? However, the Swiggy Zomato riders would go and do delivery. So we said, if we want to sweat our asset better, sweat our staff better, why just sell Momos? We actually, within 15 days, tied up with ITC, Procter & Gamble, HUL, and we sold everything from eggs, milk, bread, to condoms, to everything. And that took up the cash flows. It was not a very big impact on the business, but what it made the team believe was that, we are here to fight. We are here to survive. And as an entrepreneur, that's what matters. We did 0 job cuts during COVID. We did pay cuts for sure. We paid the entire month of April's salary, but we were very transparent with the team. Those who cannot come gets 50%, those who can come get 75%, but everyone had to bear the larger pain for the larger gain of the organization. We had a second brand called Wow China. Wherever a Wow Momo had extra space, we opened a Wow China inside a Wow Momo. So more throughput sales. So literally a virtual Wow China brand evolved during COVID. And today we have 120 points of sale for Wow China alone. The brand that actually got launched just before COVID today is a 15 crore monthly business. It actually got launched out of COVID, right? So one thing we realized during COVID that, there's so much more that we could do. I mean, today it was all about D2C, so we worked on enhancing the Momo shelf life. We came up with packaged Momos. And that entire effort that we put in to take up the Momo shelf life from 2 days to 1 year without any preservatives, just with temperature control, and launch Wow Momo Instant, which has now gone on to become an FMCG vertical for us. It's available in more than 800 touch points in the last 3 months. So I think COVID for us became more of a blessing in disguise. And that year itself, in December, in 2020, we got back to the same pre-COVID number. But the proof in the pudding is when you taste the pudding. When the second wave came, we were down by 30%, 20%, and back to the same number. That made us believe that, we're not a pandemic-proof business, but we're definitely a COVID-proof business. And when the belief comes in, nothing can stop you. But then again, talking about the second wave, a very interesting story. So in COVID, it was all about work from home. But one thing that gave me a lot of belief, and I'm sure it gave all of us a lot of belief, was the second wave when it was not work from home, it was work for home. I think the second wave became a people's movement in India. I think what we saw was very interesting. So I live in Calcutta, and on the 28th of April, my co-founder, his dad passed away because of COVID. My best friend's dad within an hour passed away because of COVID. Every 10 minutes I would get a call, can you arrange a hospital bed for me or not? And you would feel helpless because how much of an obligation can you take from hospitals that you know to help people? Because if you get someone else a bed, someone else does not get a bed, right? You feel guilty about it. At the same time, you want to help people whom you know. And that's when, somewhere deep down I realized that the real problem, as entrepreneurs, our job is to solve a problem. The real problem was people not getting beds, but the real problem was availability and shortage of beds. And we have a WhatsApp group of entrepreneurs in Calcutta. There's this organization called TIE Calcutta. So I'm a part of that. And I just posted that, folks, I think we should do something about the situation. I have an idea. Can we all catch up over the Zoom? At 7, I think this entire incident happened at 5 in the evening. At 7 in the evening, we all caught up. There were some 12 entrepreneurs who came together. And we said, why not make an effort to do something to be the change and make the city better? So first things first that we did is that, within the next 3 days, we said, let's tie up with all the government hospitals, private hospitals, and let's see what is stopping them from increasing beds. Is it funds? Is it infrastructure? And what we realized that, yes, it was funds for government hospital, but it was also basic infrastructure. So these 12 guys from Calcutta formed something known as Entrepreneurs of Calcutta, EOK, which got formed in 3 days, 28th of April. By 2nd of May, we never had a bank account because we were not registered. We used one of the Rotary clubs. 2nd of May, we started a crowdfunding campaign. By 12th of May, within 10 days, we had collected more than 9 crores. But more than that, we were able to install 357 ICU beds in the whole of Calcutta, in 17 hospitals. We worked with the army to get BiPAP ventilators from different parts of the country overnight. We worked with the customs to get machines like ventilators exported from Italy, from Germany, took custom help to get faster clearance, speedier clearance, used Air India services, did whatever we could. And by the end of 21st of May, I think within those 21 days, we had 787 beds live. We had more than 1,100 BiPAP machines, more than 300 ventilators. And we had more than 5,000 people who contributed that 9 crore rupee. It became a huge crowdfunding, and everyone was not working from home. Everyone was working for home. And I think that was the change and the hope which won my heart, which just made me believe that, if your intent is there, you can make things happen. And that's what entrepreneurs are all about, As entrepreneur, your job is to make it happen. That one belief in me, by God's grace, to make a change, led more people, like-minded people come and join hands and make a change. Apart from, arranging beds, you would get phone calls for beds, right? You would get multiple phone calls. Like, if your family has an emergency, you would call up anywhere and everywhere. Now, what would happen is that there were different WhatsApp help groups working to get beds for people, right? As we started adding on beds, there were various WhatsApp group working to get people beds. Now, there was a lot of repetition of requests coming in. That became a big challenge. So we had IT startups. We created a dashboard so that there's no repetition. More than that, how do you know where the bed is available? We actually tied up with every ambulance driver in the city. We paid them 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees to get real-time notification on when a bed is available in which hospital. What is the current status? We did our own jugaad. But what we did do as a group of entrepreneurs was a remarkable difference. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about. And I'm sharing this story because it just shows that the right intent can get you to the right places. You have to really fight it out. You have to really be diligent. You have to be disciplined. Go out there and do whatever you can. Go out there and play it and live it. But just express yourself. So that, in future you don't have to say, ki kaash maine ye kiya hota. Maybe that evening when I was sipping my cup of tea and I heard news of people dying and not getting hospital beds, had I just been quiet about it, maybe today I would have said, "Kash maine us time kuch kiya hota." But today I live with no regrets. I live with pride. So that was the second wave of COVID. And talking about the business, like I said, December 2020 we got back to pre-COVID numbers. December 21 we were up by 25%. December 2022, we were up by 100% from last December. So literally grew by 100%, not just in terms of top line, also in bottom line, but more importantly, from 3,000 employees to now 6,000 employees. And every morning when I wake up, at my age of 34, 35, you get a very different kick that, today you are responsible for 6,000 people, your decision making is responsible for 6,000 people, and you want to take this 6,000 to 10,000 and that 10 to 20, I think, because that's the real profits, how many lives can you impact? And when I talk about 6,000 employees and each employee having 3 or 4 family members, you're impacting so many lives and job creation. I mean, this is the best time for us in India. We're not no more the future, we're the present. We are no more the decade, we're the century, and it's our time to go out there, express and deliver. So, these small incidents where I have faced challenges, and I've had several failures, several failures as an entrepreneur, and I'll be very honest, I also feel scared. I'm very anxious. I have mental health issues. I'm very vocal about mental health issues. I go through depression. I go through anxiety. I have OCD. I take therapy. I go to counselors. But today, I have embraced myself the way I am, and I've learned one thing, that it's okay not to be okay. Accept yourself the way you are, because today, if I fake it and I am not able to be my real self in front of others, they will never know the real challenges that go in building a human life of an entrepreneur. So I've had days where, I've felt terrible. And then, I always earlier felt that I'm a leader of an organization. I have to always show that I'm strong. I can't have a tear in my eye. I have to be strong. But I forgot somewhere that I'm also human. And I have to behave human. And at times, just being yourself is the toughest thing to do. And over the last couple of years after COVID, that's what I've been trying to practice to do. So when I talk on stage, you see a lot of energy that comes out, right? But it's not that I'm always like this. When I'm working, my energy is my work. When I'm pitching to investors, my energy is pitching the right business to them. But it's about the perspective that I throw out there, that I give out there. And yes, not everything is hunky-dory, I mean, you have your good days, you have your bad days, you have your problems. Not everything is green on the other side. We all are humans, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. What's more important is to fail and get up and keep going. So, what I strongly believe, and it's worked for me, maybe it will work for you, that we all have good days, bad days. So when you actually have good days, you should just run, you should sprint. When you have average days, you should walk. But when you have bad days, don't stop, crawl, but keep moving. That's it, my friends. Wishing you all the very best. I'll open it up for questions. Any questions? We have 5 minutes, right?
We can take one question. Wait, just one. We'll have a microphone.
That's my man there.
Sir.
Nagesh sir, yeah.
Uh, Business is great. You're a great businessman. My question to you is, how is it that you're able to create a purpose which is larger than life, larger than you, and larger than Momo? Because your purpose is always inclusive. I mean, I've heard about your story where you dream you want to create so many hospitals and things like that. Entrepreneurs are not able to think even their business. Okay, at the most they'll think about the society and immediately, but you create such large purposes. How does one entrepreneur create an inclusive purpose which is larger than life and likely not achievable during the lifetime?
Good question, Nagesh sir. I mean, you know me well, so you could ask me that question. But I think very early in college, when I had my first anxiety attack, I realized the value of pain. And I felt that, if I've gone through a pain, I don't want anyone else to go through a pain. So how can I make this entire world pain-free or painless? So even although I'm in the food business, when I would go and buy chicken and I would see the chicken being cut, it would also give me pain. But then I had to also realize that, that is also a job or an occupation for someone. And I had a lot of challenges. I had a lot of difficulties in accepting what I'm doing. But overall, the larger picture for me was, how can I make a difference? And I remember when I had just 2 stores and one of my staff's father had cancer and we could not save him. And then one of my staff's son had blood cancer and we could save him. I realized what effort and, the power of money could do. Because in our country, in today's day and age, if someone dies because of paucity of funds, it's the biggest shame that we have, right? And yet you have people who cannot afford the right kind of treatment. And that's when I took up a goal on myself that, by the time I'm 50, I will open 5 cancer hospitals. And then one of my investors said, why 5, Sagar? If you say 5, you'll achieve 5. If you say 50, you'll achieve 50. So today my goal is that, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to have 50 cancer hospitals. I'm going to contribute 1 rupee of every plate towards that cause. And I know I'm going to get there. So not me, we will create that cancer hospital. But more than that, what next after 50? So, you have to plan big. Like I said, you have to think big to grow big. After 50, I definitely want to get into politics. I'm like, हमारे देश में अगर एक चाय वाला प्रधानमंत्री बन सकता है, तो एक मोमो वाला प्रधानमंत्री क्यों नहीं बन सकता? Whether I will become or not become, I don't know. But I'll definitely give it a shot. Because कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. I'll give it a shot. I mean, today if young people like us don't come forward and think about the larger big picture of the country, and if you only keep complaining, when will we see the change? Let's try. The whole industry will vote for you. Hope so. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nagesh sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sagar Daryani. A warm round of applause. Please do stay back on stage. As I request Mr. Biju Kurian, Chairman of Retailers Association of India, to kindly present Mr. Sagar Daryani a token of appreciation and gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Thank you, Mr. Kurian. Sagar, just a moment. I think your phone is here. See, your life path. 21 years you learnt. Then from 21 to 50, you earned. And from 50 onwards, 50 cancer hospitals you returned to society. It follows the life path of someone whom we all really look up to. Mr. B.S. Nagesh. He says 25 years of learning, 25 years of earning, 25 years of returning. So I think we are all on the right path if we can just follow Mr.